let's get into our second topic of conversation if we're done with Bergevin here, because, well, there was a contract signing today. As I am sharing the wrong tab, please hold. Taylor Hall re-ups with the Carolina Hurricanes. They're, well, I guess they're done right now in the first round. They won their first round series. I was going to say in the midst of a playoff run, but they have a little bit of a break, so I guess it makes sense that something happens. He signs a 3-year, 3.167. It's the Carolina, so they got to have a weird number, 3.167 AAV contract. And the reason why we're bringing that up on an Islanders show here is because the Islanders have Kyle Palmieri, and the connection was being made is this going to be a similar contract to what Kyle Palmieri could see on his next deal?
I like the comment right there, overpay. The one comment, overpay. Because I get it. He's got 44 or it's 42 points in 77 games. Split, though, between Chicago and Carolina, 18 points in 31 games, which puts him on a pace for 18 over 31 times 82. 48-point pace, which is right what Kyle had, right? Is it not?
48 points, 24 goals.
Exactly, right? So
and they're the same age, 33.
Yeah, well, Kyle's 34
No, he
now.
turned 34. I apologize. I forgot. He's a little bit older.
I only knew that because I did the back and forth between both while you were talking there to see, like, oh, how old was it? And it was like 33 years and 167 days for Taylor Hall to 34 years and 88 days for Kyle Palmieri.
There you
go.
go.
It's not far. You're
What's
not
that,
wrong.
A 6-month difference, maybe?
Something like that. So 6-month difference for effectively the same player at this very narrow definition of this season, right? Because, like, obviously Taylor Hall, Hart Trophy winner. Kyle Palmieri, very much not a Hart Trophy winner.
No, yeah, no, he never was. But he had a better year, I would say, than Taylor Hall had this past year. And last year, 54 points and 30 goals, where Hall had
he barely
played. He only played in 10 games. So he's had 36 points, 4 points, and 42 points in his last 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Now, I understand some of the pushback because the comparable was made online, and I get it, right? Like, similar aged players, same in terms of production. I'm in no way saying that we have to do this same type of deal. I think it's one that we were kind of like okay with at the beginning of the offseason, going like 3 years by $3 million. Sure, fine, whatever for Kyle. And so I'm still okay with it. But I understand that there's a certain amount of risk here. Like, we're paying for what he's done the last 2 seasons. But do you expect a 34-year-old to do the same thing again?
No, I was just going to say, like, I completely understand the number is lower than what it's at, because he's at, what, $5 million right now, Kyle Palmieri? Yeah. Oh, you're saving $2 million a year on a guy who gave you 30 goals, 2 years ago. That's how it's going to be spun. But I don't want to get into bed with Kyle Palmieri for the next 3 years. I don't want to sign up for a 34, 35, 36, and actually probably turning 37 midway through the final year of his contract, Kyle Palmieri. I just don't, even if you go, oh, well, that's decent value. If he gives you 25 goals and 40 points over that 3-year span, that's a good bang for your buck. One, I don't think that's happening here. I think we're going to see a decline at some point over the next couple of years. But two, I don't think there's in a spot where they should be signing a 34-year-old to a 3-year contract extension. Haven't we talked about at length for months that there's a team that needs to get younger and have an influx of young talent? And you're going to go, you know what? Let's sign Kyle Palmieri, and he'll be one of our middle six guys.
Yeah, and like he was not playing middle six minutes both this year and last. Right? He's averaged 18 minutes and 31 seconds last year, which is a career high for him. Career high. That's insane. That's not supposed to be happening at someone who's 33 years old. But that was, the state of the New York Islanders. And as you're saying, I don't think that's going to should be his role even going forward next year. So you're going to take away ice time. Rightfully so. Not because he's bad, but because he shouldn't be where he's at the top end of the roster. So when you take away time, you take away production. So you're going to see a less productive Kyle Palmieri, arguably, next season. There's also the idea of he's only played 3 full seasons in his entire career, 2 of them in back-to-back seasons this year and last. What are the odds that continues?
That's
1%, I'm going to say.
That's a great point. I know, recency bias tells you he's been a clean bill of health, as Butch Goring said. Something similar, I'm paraphrasing.
Remarkably durable or something like that.
There it is, remarkably durable. The last 2 years, sure, Butchie, over the course of his career, not that there were a couple of years, especially with the Islanders, where he missed this decent amount of games, but he's usually someone who's going to play like 60 to 65, 75 games, which is a decent chunk. But that's one where I hope whoever is hired as GM goes, I know Lou said he was going to keep you around. I'm not Lou. I'm going to tear up this contract.
Yeah, which is, I'm sure everyone at home is lifting their arms up or yelling at their screens or radios or podcaster right now, and rightfully so, saying, why didn't we trade him, God damn it? And you're absolutely right. It makes no sense. You have a guy who scored 54 goals over the last 2 seasons in a hot market, and you didn't trade him because you wanted to keep him around. It makes no sense.
I don't get it. We said it at the time. We've said it after. We'll say it now. Feels like we're beating a dead horse if we went back to, well, this is why you should have traded him. We've said this for 3 months now. Yeah. So our point hasn't changed on that. This is the bed the Islanders made again. He's here, and the assumption was that Lou was going to give him another contract. That hasn't come through, right? We haven't seen a contract extension offered. So if the next hiring general manager, or the next general manager that's hired rather, has the decision, I would hope his decision would be, sorry, I know what Lou says, but this is not the route that I want to go.
Yeah, which is just so frustrating, but again, it really comes back to the idea of this 34-year-old is not going to play probably a full season and is probably not going to play the same minutes he played last year. So you're paying a guy based off what he's done, but you're not going to put him in that situation again. Well, what tells you you're going to see the same return then? So you're going to pay him for something he did, but he's not going to be able to do that anymore. So why are we paying him that much?
They shouldn't is the real answer.
Yeah, but I get it. We got to hit the floor type of thing. Although there's no reason we can't. I think we could do that just with the yeah. What am I talking about? But the question here, I guess, is not just with Kyle Palmieri, because it is. What does that mean going forward for other guys like Mike Riley or Tony DeAngelo even? Like, they are now all in flux. And I know they said, oh, we want to be here, of course. But all previous negotiations are out the door now.
If you like that, make sure to subscribe to Up the Turnpike on Patreon for more exclusive New York Islanders content.